But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress.
All these brothers gotta wear dress applause. Wow, 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 all right. I don't think anyone saw this one coming. Dave Chappelle is finally speaking out on rumors that Kevin Hart sold his soul for fame, and Dave reportedly believes that Kevin would have never made it big if he didn't agree to do some of the things he previously swore he would never do.
Dave Chappelle, another great comedian, said that, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts, and is that something that, you wouldn't do, for
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you have to have boundaries.
Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart are both extremely successful comedians. However, unlike Kevin, Dave has been very outspoken about the dark side of Hollywood and all the ways he was screwed over by the industry higher-ups who wanted to control him. Because my name and likeness is being used by them in perpetuity throughout the universe, it's in the contract now. As for Kevin, he's definitely one of the most hard-working comedians out there. However, we all know that hard work alone is not enough to make it big in Hollywood. So what's the secret to Kevin's worldwide success? Well, it might have something to do with what Dave Chappelle claims about comedians who willingly agree to humiliate themselves in exchange for money and exposure to give you some context. There's a long-standing conspiracy theory that black male entertainers are asked to wear a dress on screen before they can make it big in Hollywood. What's also disturbing is that black comedians often end up playing these exaggerated and offensive versions of black women that reinforce negative stereotypes. What do you want, Shanae? Oh my goodness, if it isn't Little Miss attitude, why? Are you always over here now? Whether this is just a conspiracy theory or a real thing is open to debate. However, the fact remains that there is a disproportionate amount of movies that feature black male actors cross-dressing or playing female characters compared to white male actors doing the same. In fact, a number of successful black comedians and actors have finally talked about this and admitted they were asked to wear a dress even when the scene didn't call for it. And of course, one of these people is Dave Chappelle. Back in 2005, Dave famously turned out a $50 million contract from Comedy Central and escaped to South Africa without telling anyone while he was gone. The tabloid media was pushing all kinds of conspiracy theories about him, claiming he was a crack addict and speculating that he had a mental breakdown. However, when Dave returned from Africa, he appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show and explained that he didn't actually walk away from the money, but rather certain conditions that came with the lucrative contract. Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from them? $50 million. Well, I wasn't walking away from them.
I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see it before. Look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through, and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah. Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
$1 deal. And 3 months later, she's also mysteriously crazy, or Martin Lawrence punches through when he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me." Yeah, we hear those stories, and it always happens around a time of their career. But it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau, and when Oprah pushed, I have to say, what hers to create sketches that were socially irresponsible, and he says that these sketches were intended to make people laugh at him and not with him. Sounds like somebody's trying to put young Dave in a compromising position. But that's not all Dave said. He also talked about the conspiracy theory that black entertainers are forced to wear a dress before they make it big, and he recalled an incident that took place when he was filming a movie with Martin Lawrence. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected. I don't know, but certain. That's like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career. I've been connecting. They're like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin. Yeah, the movie's going good, so I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer. Because there's a dress in here. But what's crazy is that even after Dave said he felt uncomfortable putting on a dress, the writers and producers continued to pressure him, telling him that all the greats have done that. Same they come. In It's the Writer comes in. I think he's the writers, like they listen, you got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail, so he disguises you as a prostitute. He put this dress on. And no, I'm not doing it. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in. The discussion, what you don't feel comfortable with it. I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it, so we have all the grace has been. And it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress? Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot every minute she wastes costs this much money, you know. The pressure comes in, and that's when Dave started putting two and two together and realized this wasn't an isolated incident. Dave also recalled how the producers actually had two versions of the script ready in case he refused to go along with the dressing. And he said that this should be a lesson to all actors and comedians that you need to take a stand and stick by your principles, man. Producers come. On David would be so right. I mean, and then I started thinking about it, all the comics that I've seen, man, you know, strong brothers, why they putting us in these dresses. But the minute it was clear, I was adamant. I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else that comes back 10 minutes later. The whole new city. Hot damn, how did you write that? Seen so fast now, you may be wondering what all of this has to do with Kevin Hart. Well, back in 2013. Kevin Hart appeared in the SNL sketch wearing a dress despite previously claiming he would never do something like that. The new pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee.
Dave Chappelle, another great comedian, said that, you know, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts? And is that something that, you know, you wouldn't do, you know, for
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. You know, for me, I know what they are. They've yet to been challenged, so you know, I don't have to speak on them. I was asked to dribble a basketball on a talk show this morning.
You look
said
good
no to
doing
that. Not that was a dress, but I was like, no, I'm gonna look stupid. You know, at the end of the day, you got to know that you're a brand. I'm a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times. When things happen that can possibly affect your brand, your brand can be diminished, and you don't want that to happen. So, you know, protecting my brand is definitely a priority.
You refuse to cross, you know. For me, I know what they are. They've yet to been challenged, so you know I don't have to speak on them. I was asked to dribble a basketball on a talk show. It's more than that laughter. You need to protect your brand at all times. When things happen that can possibly affect your brand, your brain can be diminished. And you don't want that to happen. So you know protecting my brand is definitely a priority. So when Kevin Hart appeared on SNL just a year later wearing a dress, many fans accused him of selling out for fame. It's not that Kevin wasn't successful before his SNL appearance, but he definitely wasn't getting the same kind of opportunities. Before that skit, in fact, shortly after he appeared on SNL, Kevin Hart was cast in several big-budget movies, including Get Hard with Will Ferrell, The Wedding Ringer, Central Intelligence with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Jumanji. And he also started his own production company called Heartbeat Productions. And in 2018, he signed a deal with Nickelodeon, but coincidentally, that same year Kevin admitted he cheated on his wife at Nico Parish while she was pregnant with their son. However, this admission didn't hurt Kevin's career at all, and he continued receiving lucrative offers. Between 2018 and 2022, Kevin appeared in 8 big budget movies, secured partnerships with Facebook, Peacock, and YouTube through his production company, hosted numerous events and awards ceremonies, and appeared in several commercials. But isn't it funny how Dave Chappelle's name was dragged through the mud, and the media did the most to ruin his reputation just because he dared to say no to a contract? So this just tells the show how Hollywood bosses care only about money and control while having morals and principles as seen as being weak or crazy. Now, who these bosses are and how exactly they control celebs is not entirely clear. However, several comedians, including Cat Williams, have previously suggested that Hollywood is run by a secret society. When Cat was asked to comment on Kevin Hart wearing a dress on SNL, Cass said that this has been going on in Hollywood for a very long time, and Kevin wasn't the first black entertainer who wore a dress before being in Hollywood. Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now Cat also said that people like the fact that they refuse to join the secret society that Hollywood runs. Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are, I guess, Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them, end quote. According to the entertainment industry, are much more dangerous than most people can imagine, and he said he personally had to be stung 1,000,000 times before he realized who he was dealing with. It's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that they had to sting me 1,000,000 times. I'm still not going to join, but I respect it a little more. And when Cat was asked why he allowed the media about the people who control the entertainment option, because there's a heavy price to pay if you continue to speak out publicly on all the evil stuff that's going on in Hollywood. If your mouth is really, really big and you try to tell the truth for a living, and you like to air people out, hatred is coming your way now. Whether Kevin Hart really made it big because he agreed to wear a dress is hard to say, because Kevin is undoubtedly very talented and hardworking. However, sources close to Dave Chappelle are same, and Dave always felt uncomfortable with Kevin's obsession with success, and nowadays it feels like Kevin no longer cares at all about setting boundaries or protecting his brand. As for fans, they're saying this is much deeper than just Kevin wearing a dress. This isn't about the dress for me. One fan said this is about how far people will go for the sake of money and fame. The dress itself isn't what is humiliating. How he sees the idea of men wearing dresses as being a boundary that he allowed himself to cross is what's humiliating. That's sad. I hope he finds a shrimp to go back to the mindset he had at the beginning about being man enough to stand by your beliefs, standards, and boundaries, whatever they may be. But how do you feel about